Pardon me? Go ahead, Mr. Lang.
Okay, my name is Doug Lang. I live on 8th Avenue, Bayswater. I'm a poet and a renter in Kitsilano, a couple of endangered species. I think we need some swift action on the issue of a moratorium on demolitions, or Kitsilano will soon become Kitsilongo. Already far too many livable and lovable homes have been ripped down to be replaced by duplexes that look like wedding cakes. The crude irony is that pretty well the only people who can afford to buy into them are childless couples married to their double incomes. There was another house on my block came down today, and one came down Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. It's not the Prague Spring, but acts like this I don't know if they're measurable by degrees. It was ugly. A year ago it was the house across the street from me, another perfectly good home, destroyed, families turfed out, rental units eliminated, affordable housing gone. Kitsilongo. Seems like a pogrom is underway to me. But when it's happening to us one at a time, it's more difficult to revolt. And that we are here tonight in the numbers we are, especially those of us with green badges, given the logistics and given the private anger and grief, and those absent because they no longer live here, I would say this amounts to something of a revolt. Anyway, I'm here to say stop to the demolitions, to the moratorium. These are our neighborhoods. Let's realize that houses are not commodities only, but homes where people live. Let's acknowledge that a city's soul and civility are regenerated by its neighborhoods, its rooted identities, and its communities. Development isn't a bad word, but destruction and its accompanying greed are bad words. And the bulldozing of fine older homes destroys more than the structure of the buildings. It destroys the spirit of the people who live alongside, as well as their daily lives. It ruins the confidence of children and their sense of place and safety and continuity. It ruins the atmosphere, the environment, the character, and the fiber of a place's history. It defeats memory, and it depletes the goodness between people in that neighborhood. There are white stakes on the corners of my yard. The family of 4 living upstairs moved out of Kitsilano a month ago. I've fought. I'm a renter, a responsible tenant, a single father. The purchasers plan to build a duplex. It will not have rental units. This wedding cake will divorce me from the part of Vancouver I've called home since I moved to this city 11 years ago. The family upstairs have lived here even longer. In their haste to demolish and reap a profit, the purchasers neglected to send me a proper eviction notice. When I went to them with this information, the purchaser said that they would demolish the house June 1st, whether you're there or not. The Residential Tenancy Board told me not to bother spending the $35 to prove the notice invalid, so the purchaser spent the money instead. The hearing's tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I expect I'll win, but it will be a hollow victory. They'll likely offer me money to leave, and I'll likely take it. There's a reason for that. The upstairs is missing all of its appliances and fixtures. Pieces of the wall are falling on my ceiling. This has happened since the people upstairs moved. Things have been disappearing from the backyard. Plants, and my nervous system has almost given up. The house looks empty from the street, and, the stress of living in what was a home and is now more of a waiting room has made me feel like maybe I will go. A lot of phone calls from lawyers, from the purchaser and seller. I've had to hire a lawyer of my own just to retain enough balance to work every day and be a father to my son. And I've learned a lot about matching wits with real estate flippers and developers and lawyers, but ultimately there's a kind of a sadness that accompanies this whole process. When I think of how many people this has been happening to, and I was involved with this issue before it happened to me, I begin to wonder if this city will retain its soul, its people. I'm warmed by the amount of green badges here tonight and by the turnout itself. I support every motion, especially 2, 4, and 5. One other thing, I'd like to suggest there may be a lot more people here if those who've already bade goodbye to kits were still living in the neighborhoods. Thank you.